This the link up. This the link up. This the link up. Welcome to the link up. This the link up. This the link up. This the link up. Welcome to the link up. Oh. Yes. Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the LinkUp podcast with your host, Mr. King and Kana.
Hello, everybody.
You and your random greetings. But anyway.
Hey, guys, try to bring some kind of, excitement. It can't be the same thing all the time.
Yeah, man, you're right. I feel you. But on today's a very special episode of the LinkUp podcast. We have a guest this week again.
Yes,
as we usually
the
do.
Alcoholic homie.
Gang.
So that's the intro we're going with then.
But yeah, that's, I could do this one a little bit because, is
okay, then. So would you like to take the reins from here?
Okay. You don't start, you don't do it, What's going on, Farah?
I good, man.
Everything's
okay,
good?
Yeah, man.
How
what
you
y'all
doing
saying?
today?
I'm okay.
So, you can actually say, how people doing, because we have somebody else here that been actually answer, last week, started out the podcast asking, like, how the people doing?
King was like, hey, how everybody doing? Like, he was going to get an answer back.
Yeah, non-interactive show.
It's nice. Okay, though. Somebody must have answered you, behind the computer or behind the phone. So, you never know. We just didn't hear them.
Maybe they did, shouting at the screen. Hopefully.
But yeah, okay, so what are you doing anything yesterday? Because it was Thanksgiving and stuff like that. It went straight past my head, but
it wasn't until later in the day that I had realized that today is Thanksgiving, but I ain't doing nothing.
I was working. You do anything, Farah?
Yeah,
I
work
went
too.
to Doetinchem with some classmates. I kind of forgot
what?
it. Doetinchem.
Oh, what? She did the. She got it. She got it. No, she got it.
Barely. But yeah, so I went with some classmates. I didn't see them in a really long time, so we had like dinner and stuff, and then I kind of forgot that it was Thanksgiving too. So until I went online and see everybody else's food, but
yeah, but I mean,
I didn't even see that much food on my timelines and
I know,
this young man.
I see a good bit. But before we get too much into that, Farah, you want to explain to people, what it is, what you're doing up here, anything, a little bit?
Well, yeah.
What are you doing in this country?
Yeah, I don't even know. I am in Apeldoorn studying hotel management. I'm in my 4th year, 5th year, hopefully graduating soon. Yeah, that's basically it.
What led you to hotel management?
Well, yeah, I'm just being, I guess, from being in St. Martin, since St. Martin is like mostly tourism, like being around people, working jobs all the time that was like, customer related, and I kind of like having interaction with people, so I guess that's why I chose hotel management.
Okay.
Plus it's like a pretty general topic, so I could do a lot of stuff later with it.
But then I like so.
So it sounds like you definitely have intentions on going back SM to contribute.
Yeah, I kind of want to, but in another sense, I kind of want to stay here to figure out, like...
What? Stay here? And
do
what?
Work.
But why not go somewhere else?
I don't know, could. I don't want to, really, say, this is what I want to do. I want to leave it open,
Okay. But, I mean, granted, St. Martin does need as much young professionals as possible.
Especially now.
But I don't even think... Not me, but I think I said this before on this podcast, but St. Martin will have to see me in the next 2 decades.
Yeah.
Cause I don't, the world is way too friggin' big just to go back and live the St. Martin dream, chat. I ain't more that
trying
right
to see all the corners and things before you touch back home.
Yeah, practically. Not only that, you never.
But CDL will tell you, don't wait until you're retiring and things to go back and you can't be a productive member of society. You're just sitting in a wheelchair and thing on the beachfront.
I can't do nothing for St. Martin right now either.
You gotta start somewhere. That's all.
Exactly, but that's the thing. I'm going to start elsewhere and then bring it back home. You check it out.
I don't know, but I think living up here or living abroad and then going back to St. Martin, going back to those ways that there is that island
the
lifestyle.
Way it operates.
Yeah, that would kind of drive me insane a little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Especially seeing
you just
how...
get a little taste of it every time you go back on vacation.
Man, you're living in bigger countries and more organized countries, and then you have to go back to this let me not say backwards mentality, but I mean, a lot of the times that's what it feel like.
That's the way we all describe it. I mean, if you're just keeping it 100%, if you're keeping it 100, as the young people them say. I mean,
That's just what it is, like. I mean, the census office lines to get the ID, passport, whatever it is you might need, like, starting.
Look, let me not,
lines still outside the place. Then when you get inside, somebody face push up dealing with you and things like.
this
you don't get none unless you know somebody more that knows something and could fix something for you.
But then at the same time, that's almost everywhere. It's just more. To me, it's more magnified because St. Martin's so smart.
It happens to some degree in larger countries. Yeah, you're not wrong. But I mean, I feel like Trump is a great example of that. People been accusing him, like the way the man got the whole family in. He put the whole family in once he got in.
But man, okay, again,
regardless of qualification, anything.
Is that not what all of us trying to do in some kind of perspective?
Listen, I understand, but you could be a little more subtle about it and be like, yo, this is the country. This ain't your personal business, dog. This is the country.
Yo, they elect this man, okay? You think if somebody elect me, I ain't gonna take advantage of it. I'm like, yo, fellas, we in.
Yeah, but
okay, so you're gonna be like, okay, completely. I have no qualifications in health or whatever it is. You're gonna make me minister of health or some shit like that.
Oh no, yeah.
I mean, like, kind of basically what is going on. Like, the man, entire family, they all got their own little dealings.
The only person that have the qualifications, I believe, is Ivanka. To a certain, we still end up talking about this man.
he said, and I was like, here we go.
It happens all the time. It happens all the time. It's not intentional. I don't know where it comes from.
I was really trying to avoid that this week, though, because you know what? Screw that. All you been seeing all these again, because we had talked about it a bit last week. I see all the sexual allegations. The more people coming out, this like, well, we doing this Friday, did the past week.
Yeah, I mean, that was an interesting segue. I mean, completely dead the topic of burp.
Yeah, screw that. No, nobody trying to talk about Trump. Nobody trying to talk Trump. Nobody trying to talk about Trump right about now. It's been there. We've been there, done that. Until he do something again outrageous, or until he start war with North Korea, I really ain't want to hear nothing about it, right?
I feel that. I mean, we got that whole sexual allegation thing, sexual assault stuff. It's tiring to keep up with all the people. I mean, there's been so many celebrities that have been accused of different things, from the Kevin Spaceys to like the Charlie Rose was one of the latest ones I see today, and
somebody big else had one now.
Simone, no, one of the Olympic gymnasts had to come out and speak. Say like the coach or whatever from the U.S. Olympic team, the gymnastics team, they had some issues, and the doctor was allegedly sexually assaulting people and doing all kind of inappropriate touchings and stuff, and yeah. I didn't know all the details of how exactly he was doing, but I just know it was either Gabby Douglas or Simone, like one of them two, who had won the gold medalists and stuff like that in recent Olympics. One of them had come out and speak about it and stuff, and got some backlash because for one of her first statements was kind of like people was accusing her of victim blaming and stuff like that, because she was saying something about personal accountability needed to be involved in there or something like that as well. I don't remember the exact statement that she made. So
that's a very touchy subject, man, because to a certain extent she kind of got a point now. And
then the internet, she got a whole lot of backlash, and then she gave an apology and was like, yeah, she understood that what she was saying was insensitive and all of this stuff. And
how you mean what she's saying is okay? You know what? Let me not just fly off the handle there, because I was about to say something there that might get me in trouble. But I don't.
It's a good thing you're on a much smaller format, then you don't have as many people on the internet just listening to be like, wow, you're true. So intolerant.
But if we do have to get this thing like how we want to, then they play back the early episodes, and might still get shaft. So I still have to watch what I say. Yeah. But I mean,
everything lives forever on the internet. Everything lives forever.
Okay, it's true. But I mean, still, look at the whole. Okay, granted, it's wrong. Nobody's supposed to be touched or doing any type of way without consent. But at the same time, I feel like some of these things, a girl not to ask for it, but how to say it without sounding like a dick, chat.
Are you waiting for you?
I ain't even trying to assist you.
Okay. Let me make just to play devil's advocate.
Yes, dig your own grave.
King and I was talking about this a little earlier, Farah. And I want to get your 2 cents. What you consider? First of all, let me ask this: what you consider as sexual assault? Or what? Not, sexual assault sounds kind of a little
that's what the term is, sexual assault.
No, but that sounds a little drastic.
Sexual harassment, sexual assault.
Yes, that. What you consider? Yeah, I mean, but assault seem like I go like punching you in the tit, or some shit, you know?
Legal terms, that. I mean,
harassment sound like I legit harassing you. Like you want to be left alone. So I'm gonna use harassment. What do you consider sexual harassment?
Well, I guess it's like, you know, one part is like the touching, like, you know, having like physical contact without the person's consent. And then another one is like, you know, like verbal harassment, like, you know, if I don't know, if somebody just don't want to hear certain things and you constantly like making certain remarks.
Okay, constant. So it has to be like a repetitive constant, something.
Yeah, but you know, like I find like, I don't know, like people say certain things, you got to make it clear that you don't want to hear those things, and then if they continue, then you know, so I find like after that is harassment.
Okay. But no, go to.
Now, I think my question was just gonna be like, so basically, it might be an inappropriate remark, but then it's just like in your mind that's just an inappropriate remark until it's like, okay, you pressing the issue and like, okay, now it becomes a creepy thing, and then it's like sexual harassment. Yeah,
because I mean, like, especially like we're from Simatin, like everybody just kind of make like slack jokes, but then you kind of got it like jokes. Yeah, but like I don't know, people just kind of like push their boundaries, and you got to be like, no, like you don't do that shit with me, like that's not cool.
Okay, and then but once you make your stance, okay, just to get a general consensus, once you make your standing clear of that, whether you like this or you don't like that,
yeah.
Once the person goes against your wishes, you would consider that sexual harassment.
Yeah, but I wouldn't like really. Yeah, I think it would have to be like 2 or 3 times for me to say like is really sexual harassment, because some people is just joke too much.
Yeah, but I mean, if you joking and after the first time the person said like, yo, that ain't a joke, you should, like that should be the first and last time.
Yeah, that's true. Like I don't know, but it takes me normally a while to get annoyed with something, like especially with guys from Simatin that like to make jokes too much.
Okay, let's like, it's seen okay, from my understanding,
not only Simatin, but you know,
there's different stages. So let's start with verbally. Like, what if I had to tell you by Farah, you got fat ass, and you have to be like, yo, I don't appreciate how I don't like that's unnecessary. Yeah. And if I had to say it again in some other context, you consider that sexual harassment?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, why I asked this question in general is because we was watching a video, and it was like, part of some of the survey questions was like staring at breast is considered sexual harassment. I find that a bit odd. Because how is that considered? How can you consider that sexual harassment?
You're phrasing it wrong.
Okay.
There was in the video he was watching. They was talking about the survey that was done.
Yeah, I just wasn't.
Where they was asking people what according to them constitutes sexual harassment, and they had a couple questions on them, and I believe all of them was phrased in the manner of like if somebody of the opposite gender or whatever asked one of these things or did one of these things, and they had like asking out for a drink, staring at your breasts. I forget some of the other ones that they had. But yeah, that's basically like where he was going with the question. And like based on that, certain people answered that staring at the breasts and stuff like that is sexual harassment. Some people said no. I mean, there was no like official consensus with everything on how does everybody feel the same way about this. Cause they asked men and women and answers differed among men and women and stuff.
But that's what I mean. Like
that one, I don't understand.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like in a sense, you know, people just push their boundaries because like certain people would tolerate things while other people wouldn't. Like I have friends that would like, you know, they okay with people staring at their titties. They actually like that attention. Like me on the other hand, well, I don't appreciate stuff like that. So I mean,
but okay.
I mean, I get out if you go out and you looking fine, like people gonna be watching your ass, people gonna be watching your titties.
But that's
like,
the shit.
That's fine. But like constant, like you know, you in the club and somebody just staring at your titties, like bro, calm the fuck down.
If you're having a conversation with a dude, for example, and his eyes just like clearly not in your face and think he's staring, then it's like that's a different type of situation.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, even if he doing it like unconsciously, because I even catch myself like staring at some chick's titties sometimes. But like, you know, like if she noticed you watching her and you still continue doing it, that's kind of like awkward, you know. And if
no. Okay, it might be awkward, yeah, but I don't consider that sexual. I can't see that being considered sexual harassment unless she says something.
Okay, but
if she says something and she makes it clear that she does not like the fact that like if she says that I see you watching my tits And can you stop? And be like, all right, fuck, cool.
Okay.
I still wouldn't call it sexual harassment though, because like, I don't know. You got your titties out there, so people are gonna look at it.
Exactly, that's my point.
Okay, I think we need to provide a little more context to the situation because I feel like one difference is with the situations that we here discussing and what was going on in the media and all of that with the Me Too, hashtag Me Too and all of that, everybody bringing out the stories and stuff, is like most of these is workplace scenarios, and that adds a different dynamic. When is an employer, when is somebody who is a supervisor or whatever position they hold as in your field, in your line of work, that's somewhat of authority figure. Because that's most of the situations with the Charlie Rose thing. It's like it's the Charlie Rose show, and these is employers or interns and stuff that come in, and these is people that was sexually abused or assaulted and stuff in whatever way. Like that is a different power dynamic, and that's where it might be like, okay, cool, you staring at my boobs inappropriately, and it feels a different way than if it's in a club situation where it's like, I'm going out, I'm dressing to attract attention, I'm in a like if you're
okay, you're right, you're absolutely right. But I mean, I guess where I had bring in the whole conversation was more because
and also,
it is still happening it is still happening generally as well.
So nobody's saying that, but I mean, it's more about the thing of it, like, yeah, you could just say no, I'll make it clear to the people, like, okay, this is an uncomfortable situation, but it's a little harder, or at least, I mean, I can't speak from experience, but from what I can imagine, it's a little bit more difficult to refuse or to resist to turn down the person if it's like, okay, this is your boss. You don't know if this person might fire you, end up on suspension and things like that, depending on how the situation is. I ain't saying you shouldn't make your statements clear or nothing like that. If the person is, if it's an unwanted sexual advance, I feel like a no or some kind of sign or signal or whatever to tell the people.
No.
I feel like something like that still needs to be said or like made it clear, but I mean,
yeah, but you could just do it like in a professional way, like,
How do you sexually harass in a professional way?
No, I mean, like, say that you don't like that in a professional way.
Yeah. But I guess the setting does make a big difference.
Like there's many of them that said, I was like, well, I didn't know he has a temper or whatever and stuff. I didn't know who to go to, or like in the Charlie Rose situation, there was no HR department and things. So like a lot of the women, even if something happened, they didn't know who they were supposed to go to or who to even report it to and stuff.
That's what I mean. Like the setting really does make a difference, because with the whole Charlie Rose and these celebrities and stuff like that, is from my understanding and from the pieces that I get, is really a power dynamic type something. It's really like, okay, cool, this person practically like
a Harvey Weinstein situation.
Yeah,
this famous Hollywood executive
practically got power over my career and my industry. And if I get a good impression, then get more money, more publicity, all that kind of crap. But if I do something wrong or he don't like me for whatever reason, then my career practically screwed, and that's your life there, not just being touched. So I mean, I could understand that, but I mean, why still bring up the normal aspect of it, not necessarily the job or the professionalism of it, is because I personally find women still get upset. The touching is never okay, but like the cat calling and stuff like that, if you dress a certain way, that's what that's kind of what you are asking for. Granted, there's certain situations where a woman could dress conservatively and she can still get harassed. But I mean, if you're going on that extra part, your tits showing, the skirt halfway showing your crack and stuff like that, and then you get vexed with man hollering at you like that, you don't think that's kind of asking for that kind of attention though?
Let me ask you a question. Well, when homie had tell you them lines in Zara, were you dressed provocatively? Were you asking for it?
Exactly. But you see that's a different something.
Somebody tell you lines in Zara?
Oh, you didn't hear that episode. But I get hit on in Zara. Yeah, but the man will carry me past Karma and them kind of ones. I told the man, my girlfriend wouldn't like that. The man tell me, it's okay, I don't mind.
Your girlfriend wouldn't like that?
Yeah, I said
you have like that? Like, you should say, I don't like that, you know? Like,
but you don't understand it. He wasn't listening to the first couple of he didn't listen to the first couple no's.
The man tried to curve him smoothly before he had to make it a little more explicit.
Cool, I got showing the whole girlfriend thing. He was like, yeah, I don't mind threesome.
Wow. The man was persistent. That's basically what going on. The man was persistent.
For real, I got sexually harassed at work. I did not realize that until now.
Although it wasn't by a coworker or nothing like that, so it's still a slightly different dynamic. But
technically, it still was a power dynamic because if they had went and complained to my manager and said that I was being rude or whatnot, in other words, that could have still affect my job. So it's still somewhat of a power shift.
You're not wrong, you know. I ain't saying you're wrong.
I ain't necessarily telling the truth either, but I mean, hey, there's something in the middle.
Yeah, it's really hard when you're stuck in a situation like that, though, because I was kind of like in that sort of ish in China, because like I don't know what it is with where the company I was working for. I was in the working in the kitchen, and it was like mostly guys, so I had it that they would make comments, or like when I walking past, they would make moaning noises, or like make comments about my boyfriend. And
what? Wait, tell me, how you mean make comments on thing? Like what do you say?
Like one day I was eating in a restaurant and I was Skyping with him while I was eating, and they came like to greet me, and they saw him, and you know they saw that he was black, and in China that's like a really crazy shit that people are black. So that was it. Like the rest of the 6 months, it was just black boyfriend, big dicks, blah blah blah. Like every time they was like, "How big is it? How big is it? Is it really big? Is it really long?" I was like, "Can you just leave me alone?" Or like, like random shit like that. I was like, it's annoying, and I keep and obviously me being a type of person, I will express myself, and I was like really mad, and I went to my boss and. He just take it as a joke. So I was just like, y'all, like, I'm really annoyed, and y'all just taking it as a joke.
I didn't mean to laugh right now.
Another common reason.
No, because I was like...
hey, these back keep harassing me about dicks.
Yeah, I was like, for real, though. I was like, is this really normal that they asking me about, like, the size of my boyfriend's thing? Like... Why every time I walk past somebody gotta be making moaning noises or making movements like or trying to touch me or some like weird?
Okay, no, that's something different.
Yeah, but it's like
trying to touch you is something different though. That's to me.
I don't know, like there was one time I was like cutting fruits or something like that, and then I was sending this guy for pineapples so I could cut them, and he was like dang on the pineapples because he wanted me to go to the store to get the pineapples to bend over to pick them up, and so when I went there I started flipping because I was like, look, the pineapple's there. And I didn't know what he was doing, so I bend over. He ran behind me, started making like joking movements. Start flipping.
You see, when I was playing devil's advocate, I would just more mean as like a verbal something. To me, there's no reason for you to be doing any kind of action towards a woman that's unwanted. That's asking for shit.
Yeah, because I was like, yo, are you an idiot? Like, for real? Like, and
definition.
And the thing is, it was like.
Advance.
Yeah, but it was hard in that sense because he didn't even speak English properly. So I don't even know. Body language wise, I know that he knew that I wanted him to stop, but he just like kept going.
As somebody who also lived in like 2 different Asian countries, them man have just weird chat. Them like they have a real different I can't really say that either because not everybody. It's two extremes yet. You have those ones that are really conservative and like really respectful and stuff like that, and you have those ones that really like don't know what personal space is.
No, yeah.
Like in Vietnam, they would it's creepy. Like man would legit be like hovering over each other and like spanking each other and like them them Caucasian type jokes. There's like a little bit times 2 in Asia. Is odd. Is odd. And I can imagine that happens a lot in Asia actually. Sexual harassment. But you see, that's why I find there needs to be a clear distinction between harassment and assault. That's harassment. Assault, like what happened to Farah and stuff like that, them like going behind and all that kind of shit. That's legit harassment. Assault now is like if you have to. Okay, well, how I find it or how I seen it, assault is like more as an actual physical touching.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to put your hand down somebody's pants or you're trying to like kiss somebody else unwarranted and stuff like that. To me, that's assault.
Well, I'm gonna look up.
Man, Googling?
Yeah.
Googling?
Trying to present legitimate facts and thing here,
What's the difference then?
I Google harassment first. I was gonna look up assault in a minute.
What's harassment?
The definition
then?
of harassment is harassment typically of women in a workplace or other professional or social situation involving the making of unwanted sexual advances or obscene remarks. So basically, it's about unwanted sexual advances or obscene remarks.
Okay, so now we gotta see what's the difference between assault then, because to me
according to me, assault is the same thing, but I'm not sure. Let's see.
But I don't know. But is
This is the Wikipedia definition. Sexual assault is a sexual act in which a person is coerced or physically forced to engage against their will or non-consensual sexual touching of a person. Sexual assault is a form of sexual violence, and it includes rape, such as forced vaginal, anal, or oral penetration, or drug-facilitated sexual assault, groping, child sexual abuse, or the torture of a person in a sexual manner. So sexual assault goes a little beyond.
further than
That's
just
actually physical.
Yeah, well, it's practically like what
Harassment
we were
is
saying.
like
then.
more verbal.
Yeah, basically. That's the distinction I would see between the two.
Okay. Well, I think there's obviously a lot more cases of sexual harassment.
But there's lots of situations where the two go hand in hand, I guess. Like, at least from while we've been coming out in the news and stuff, all the stories that they've been talking about. Some cases, some women been reporting just harassment or whatever, the obscene remarks and things. They ain't got the Harvey Weinstein and all those people that just jerking off in front of people and all kind of stuff. It's like, you know, or the Kevin Spacey who was humping a 14-year-old or whatever, just pressing himself physically on a 14-year-old or whatever. It is like, those are clear sexual assault cases and stuff. But I mean,
you know, I have to watch how we're phrasing these things. But it would be a little interesting if we see the other way around.
What do you mean?
Like female execs using their position of power and harassing partners. To me, I find that would be a little interesting because that would be a power flip.
Yeah, but then the men in power first got to relinquish their power for that to happen to you, for there to even be a scenario where, like most industries in positions of power, they're male dominated. When you're talking about the CEOs and the top managers and these things, most industries, yes, there are certain industries like education or whatever where you might have a lot more women and stuff, because most of the time you have female teachers.
It coming up a little bit more here and there. Okay, granted, ain't like how it's supposed to be or how it should be or equal.
It's slowly balancing out, but
it progressing a little bit. So you would ever report that? You would ever come out and say that? Suppose you there by the gym now. And okay, no, your boss is actually a gay person. This might be a little bit of a different scenario. But, anyway, let's just say you work for a big company, right? And your CEO is a woman, and she come and like force herself on you and things like that. But if you blaze this thing, that you can get a promotion.
It's always a different situation between men and women, because like.
But why should that be this? Shouldn't it be like a general precedent? Like if it's wrong, it's wrong. Shouldn't it be whether?
I think we both can acknowledge that if it's wrong, that yes, wrong is wrong. If it's unwanted, because that's generally the common theme with all of them. It's an unwanted. That's the key point. I don't want to be touched. I don't want whatever it is you telling me. I don't want you to be saying those things to me. That's the key point in whether it's a sexual assault or harassment. The main thing is that it's unwanted. So it's like, if it's a woman or whatever, if it's a point where I am classifying it as sexual harassment, that means I didn't want it. I mean, I don't know, maybe she was unattractive, she in my type, I married, I don't know what the situation is. I don't want her advances for whatever reason it is. And it's like, once that's the case, would I report it? I don't know.
Would you come out
would
and
I make
say
a claim and stuff? Honestly, I probably wouldn't, because...
Yeah, but nobody ain't gonna take it serious anyway. Because it's a
different, it's not
so,
like it's a different.
I understand what
we
you're trying
all
to go
can acknowledge that if like it's a completely different thing.
It shouldn't be though.
Listen,
it really shouldn't
be. Who threatens you? It's about power. We talk about power dynamics and stuff like that. But a woman, like, you never feel. I'm doubt, even though it might be an unwanted sexual advance or whatever, you probably just laugh it off. There's been times when maybe a drunk chick in a club smack your ass or something like that. That's technically a sexual assault there or unwanted sexual advance and stuff. But you just laugh it off because you don't feel that's a threatening situation. Whereas if you flip that situation completely and it's like, do that same thing to a chick, she don't know what could potentially happen. He's a lot stronger than her in most scenarios and stuff like that. It could escalate, it could go left, it could go right, depending on how she responds. You don't know what could happen.
It could be the same way for the man too.
Really, dog? What Farah would do to you?
Big man,
for example,
bigs.
The average female in comparison to you. I mean, if you threatened in a situation, like what woman is going to force you down and do what she wants you?
Farah, okay, cool. You bring up a girl. You walk by the gym. You know Angel.
Okay, cool. You mentioned one woman.
But you mentioned one as well. It don't matter, dog. If it's a thing, you don't
Somebody-
know what a woman
Wait,
could do.
nobody else know who Angel is.
Okay,
though.
Angel,
Like-
Angel, right, is this really buff chick that is do boxing, and she could put hands on at least half the partners I know. And why I know that is because she put hands on me. Cause I went boxing with her and she could fucking fight. And nobody don't know how you know Farah can't fight. How I know that I in the club Farah spanked my ass and I be
Really,
like, yo, what
dog?
the fuck?
Really, dog?
That
Really?
is 2017.
So this is a scenario you want to walk around where you really feel like you afraid of the average woman that you see on the road. It poses an actual physical threat
Big
to you.
man, people is people. It don't matter who it is. You don't know what
Really?
people could do that.
Really?
So you mean to tell me, so just because I see
I'm sorry,
But
I don't
wait,
care how sexist it sounds, but I think I could beat up the average female that come to me, unless you in a situation where, obviously, if you look at people that never train, you never been in no fight sport, you never
How
been in
do
no
you
fight
know
sport, just
this?
based
But
on...
how do you know this? How do you know that Farah does not have that experience? How do you know Farah does not have that capability?
So let me ask you, in a situation when you're drunk, if you in a club, a random chick spank your ass, has it ever happened to you?
no.
Come up to you in potentially drunk and talking to you in a maybe sexual way or flirty, extra
No.
flirty or something. Cool. That alone don't tell you something that they don't feel safe or comfortable enough to make those type of advances.
No, because I've had fellas that has happened too. And they did feel like it could have been something. Yo, you mean to tell me it's not possible for a group of girls to gang up on her?
You mentioned you bring in a different scenario.
No,
a group of girls and a panel.
What is a group? Is what? So you telling me it's
group
not
versus
possible?
a panel.
So you're not telling me? So you telling me it's really not possible?
Kana, you're talking nonsense.
For a man,
You're talking
for,
nonsense.
So you
You're talking
really telling me,
nonsense,
Gary?
man.
You really telling me it's
You're
not
talking
possible?
nonsense. If you want to take,
So you
okay,
really just bringing the physicality of it into it? That's all you playing into it? Just because a man might be
Listen.
physically stronger than a woman, that
Listen.
mean that yeah,
Listen.
I can't be afraid.
Listen, unless it's a situation like you was previously describing where it's a workplace and this is my superior or something like that, then I might be a little afraid that I might lose my job or something like that if I turn down her advance or something like that. That might be a fear I have, but I ain't never thinking, oh my God, is this woman going to kill me? If I thinking she gonna kill me, is she probably going to poison my food or something like that? But I ain't expecting her to come on and force me down and make me do something I don't want in that kind of way.
Let me
She
show
might
you
be able to
something.
coerce me, like I said, with
Man,
money or position
woman.
type of situation.
Well, it's happened to my brother already. Like my little brother when he was in St. Martin, there was this chick. She was like, well, he says she was on drugs or something, and he was walking up Kobe Road, and she walked up to him and she just grabbed his dick. Like, and she just continuously did it. And so my brother was warning her, like, yo, I'm gonna hurt you, like I'm gonna hit you, and she just keep doing it. So he just pick up and smack on the floor.
Appropriate response, I think, in that situation.
Especially if he warned her multiple times. Yo,
Yeah, but-
I don't give a shit, man, woman, child. If I feel like you threatening me or I don't know what you could do, I don't know what people are capable of. So you telling me like you telling me a man can't get raped from a woman?
By a woman in a average situation, I think it's highly unlikely. I'm not saying it's impossible. If it's an older woman and this is a teenage person, which you see some kid in different cases where it's statutory rape and stuff, I definitely see that being possible. There's like an older college professor or whatever and a high school student or something like that. That's technically rape. That's taking
No, it
advantage.
is.
That's
It
power
is.
dynamics and all kind of things. And I feel like in that situation, but that's still in some rare cases, I feel that high school dude could still probably put licks on whoever that was if it came to like, okay, I'm physically trying to hold you down or do things to you that you don't want, that kind of way. I just don't see it being very likely that the average woman is going to go up to the average dude and really pose a physical threat to him in that situation. It's not as intimidating when a woman
Biggs,
is doing something.
you
Like
don't-
Farah just
you
mentioned.
you can't
You
say
did
that,
you did something wrong to me. I put like
I know that. I mean, with her brother
could you honestly imagine it going much different in the average situation case? You mentioned Angel, somebody who you just say put many hours, crazy hours in the gym. Is the average female training like Angel? No. This is what I'm saying,
No, but
dog.
I don't
The
find
probability
training
that
gotta do anything with it. Like men
I
are
don't think so
generally
neither.
stronger than girls.
I don't think so
Yeah, but my
neither.
sister don't necessarily box either. I know my sister would put hands on people if they come through. So like what that I just use an Angel as an example because you use Farah as a specific something. So like, all right, cool. You want to use an example? I got an example too. But it's possible though.
I'm using an example based on the average female. average female. I don't know who that may be. You could name.
Yeah, but you can't rule it out completely. It could still.
As I say, I know there's a situation where, as you said, in a situation like Angel, where you got those style of females that maybe know some martial arts, or trained, or maybe genetically stronger, bigger than other females and stuff like that.
You mean, no.
Average females are shorter than males. You could measure these things. There's enough science to show you average heights of men, average heights of women. We bigger, we stronger, we faster. These are the physical differences between men and women. There's fact, like,
my whole
look
thing
at
is
a top level Olympic level female team in any sport versus Olympic level male team in any sport. Both of these people have equal training. Whereas like they training at the highest level, training like twice a day, 7 days a week type of training. The only difference between these people, if your training is exactly the same, is your genetics, your physical capabilities, what you was born with. And if you look at any top level, you put a top level volleyball team, males versus women's, it's going to be a slaughter, dog. Not trying to throw no shade at women saying they just completely inferior to women, but these are just the facts, dog. If you look at top level WNBA, NBA, look at the differences with whatever top level women's sport it is, compare it to the top level men's sport in that. There's just a difference, dog.
Yeah, I see, dog. I see what you mean, but at the same time, that don't mean you could go in and underestimate everybody or underestimate women in general, Jet. Just because you find an average woman might not be able to pose a threat to you, that don't mean they.
So you saying all of what I'm saying is like what, nonsense?
No, but he's just saying
don't
all he's saying
nobody.
Is like don't disregard it entirely, which is what you say. Like you understand it can happen in certain situations, but you know generally more often it happens that.
So Kana, let me ask you this question then. Do you think the average male is walking around in fear late at night of being sexually assaulted by a
woman?
Yeah.
Nah.
Do you think that's a real concern for many women? You walking through a dark park or whatever is like, and you see some dude walking behind you. Do you automatically get paranoid and start, like, do you think they start looking back and wondering like what could potentially happen?
Yeah, but do I also know?
Why do you feel that is?
Because it happens more often.
Why do you feel that happens more often?
Because man is more dicks, not necessarily because of physicality. Because man feel like they could take things and they have rules ruling for things. If it was all the way
There's been
around,
numerous studies showing the number one likelihood reason for people committing crimes is the likelihood that they would get away with it. The number one contributing factor to people committing crimes is the likelihood that they would get away with it. Why do you think men can constantly get away with could get away with sexual assault, sexual harassment, whatever it may be, and in certain situations? Because it's like
that let's not get it twisted now. This is only men of power now. Only men of power could get away with that shit, dog. Anybody you label rape,
so?
you label rape.
She wasn't just telling you, but the
so.
whole thing is on Martin was like, okay, if she feel every girl goes through these situations, or it may not always be to the extent of okay, you outright grabbing me or something like that. The
next question is, do they come out? If these girls used to come out, those men that would be accused would be damaged. I mean,
But did she not report it? Did she not report it to a person? The situation that was happening in China. What happened? The dude laughed.
Yeah,
I took it as a joke.
See, now you mixing scenario. Now you mixing St. Martin with China. You can't do that. We was talking about St. Martin. We could talk about St. Martin. China, we can't see nothing
females
about
reporting stuff.
No, but in St. Martin too, they would like knock it off. Like, oh, he did do that to everybody.
You gonna report that to the police, or like, and then and then the question is then asked you. So okay, so what you was wearing, or how much you was drinking, or what you say before it, and this and that, to try to find out how you was, or how you was potentially at fault for being sexually assaulted or raped or whatever it may be.
But what I'm saying, look at it now. Look, any man that's accused even of being a rapist, that's almost it for your if you consider having a social career or anything. Once you label a rapist, that's it now. That don't come off, the problem is that the women don't come out and report it. That's the problem.
Also with sexual harassment, like nobody don't say anything, nobody don't do anything, everybody just leave it slide.
But that's the problem, and not only that is because we giving these people of power that I find
Charlie Rose situation. People wanted to no HR department. How do I report it? So then it goes unreported until more and more situations or something pop up, and somebody was the first one to maybe contact a media outlet and be like, okay, you know what, I want to go on record and be like, yes, I'm accusing Charlie Rose publicly, because I guess at that point you don't care about the ramifications anymore. When again, I'm saying in many of these situations, at least, is a workplace where it's like I try and advance my career. I don't necessarily want to rock the boat too much. I get fired and all of these type of things, which is why part of the reason.
A whole different question then, because then that doesn't that bring up like your morality as well?
That was another thing that was brought up in the Brilliant Idiots podcast, and because Schultz was talking about that, saying that kind of point, like men use power to get pussy, women is kind of the opposite. You know, women use the pussy to get power almost, and it's like, is that wrong? If you given a choice to be like, okay, I'm asking you, can I jerk off in front of you or whatever for this movie role or something with a Harvey Weinstein case or something like that, and you laugh and say no or something like that, or you don't say no, it's like you kind of making the choice to then be like, okay, cool, my career is more important than me feeling violated or whatever it is in that moment. So like, I do understand where you're coming from to some degree, because you could see it from both sides. It is to some degree a choice, but then how much of a choice is it? Is like, if you got to vote for Hillary or Trump when both of them is trash, how much of a choice is that?
You going back on Trump again?
I don't know. He just is such a great example of trash. The man is such a prime example of trash. I don't know. I couldn't think of nobody else.
You see, but that goes into something a little bit more personal, because that we can't generalize this, because this is something personal. Like, all right, well, I feel that I going to take my morals, or how deep are my morals to say that, okay, cool, I gonna get this checked, versus then somebody constantly harassing me. That's a general. To me, that's a general something. I mean, it's not a general something. That have to be something on a more personal level. But as a whole,
and Schultz was also bringing up, like, is Hollywood, this ain't the first time we've been knowing people been giving blowjobs to get the role, and hearing the rumors and stuff like that, but that's how Hollywood does operate and stuff like that. This ain't new, that all of these things coming out, but I mean, that don't make it right neither.
Okay, so this is my question to both of you then. Who you think started it?
Started what?
This whole, let's say, environment or atmosphere of sexual harassment / assault.
Men in power.
Okay. Why I'm asking is, do you think men started it and women continued it?
If you having a bunch of conversations,
when I mean continue it, I mean the fact that, okay, cool, some women realize that, all right, what if I just suck this man dick, or if I just fuck this partner, I could get where I want to be, and instead of having to work in 5-10 years and shit like that. So then women start doing that a little bit more. So that's becoming a normal something. So they got, by you know, if all you gotta do is just do this. All you gotta do is do that, and then you can get this, you can get that, you can get that. So has men started it, and women continued it?
Men started it.
Because I mean, let's be real now. It's not only just the men using their power as a thing, because like you said earlier, King, men use power for pussy, and women use pussy for power. So you know that, yeah, you're an attractive girl. We all know girls like this in this room. Yeah, you know you're an attractive girl. You know almost 90% of the man that you encounter want you to some degree. They have girls that will be, all right, cool, I can use that to my advantage.
Yeah, but is that still sexual harassment or sexual assault though? Because they're given consent to doing those things.
But why I say that is because would it be wrong to say that they kind of not continuing this, like, but like allowing it to happen more, because they're thinking, okay, cool, so now a new executive gonna come. Like say 2017, somebody with young and got power and stuff like that. You already know that this is the atmosphere. That you already know that, yeah, some girls that do this, some girls that do that, and things like that. So if you already have that in your mindset, you ain't really taking no female serious that look like they whether interested in you or whatever the case. Cause you thinking, yeah, this girl just want to get ahead. But if you didn't know women used to do that in general, you would take them more seriously, no? If I understand my point. I don't know if I'm saying this. I don't know if I'm saying it clear.
I understand what you're saying, but in a sense, I feel like, I don't know, men that are in power just feel like they kind of own everybody, and they allowed to do whatever they want to do, and everybody gonna just accept it. Like certain people, but
grab them by the pussy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Again. No, but okay. But then don't you think that is just because the women who use a pussy for power is more of a shameful something in society than the other way around? So like for instance, you were saying
they just get shit. That's why that's why terms like sluts and hoe and stuff like that was invented. Those women that do take advantage of their sexual powers or whatever, they done labeled and outcast by men and women to some degree.
But exactly, so that's already the thing labeled by society. So because that's already labeled by society, does that not make the women have to be a little bit more careful if they're using that to get ahead? Versus men who could just openly use their power and just be like, yeah, who won't? And like Farah was saying earlier, somebody gonna be like, oh yeah, that's just Jeff being Jeff.
But that's why I tell you, like, men is who start this thing. Men is mainly, you can't, I don't understand how you could look at the people who's in a victim position most of the time, not always, but I mean, the people in power is who the fuck make the rules. It's just that simple.
And those people are actually, like I said before, they given their consent to do that. You know, so like if he tries it with somebody else and they say no, and he continues going, that's not the whole provoking something else, you know? That's not her allowing other situations to happen like that. That's him going against somebody's own will. That's
true, but I guess why bring it up is like, is that the gateway to it then? Is that the gate? Is the woman in those kind of positions that using the vagina for power, is that a gateway to leave men feel that it's okay for that to happen?
I don't think so. I feel like it's two separate things on its own. Like women just do certain things and men just do certain things, but I don't feel like
you don't find one could potentially lead to the next.
The argument that I've often heard to counter that is basically this: women use pussy at an attempt to get power because in this society that's all they got. Men don't have things locked up in certain ways and stuff, and in many industries it's just boys clubs and stuff like that, whereas like we're not trying to necessarily let a women can't even in the rooms to hear certain discussions when certain things going on. Like, I mean, depending on what industry you're talking about is always different, but I mean, it's just most places men are the people in power. It's the same thing if you look at institutional racism, for example. It may not necessarily be an intentional thing, but if you have a room of only white people in this room thinking and making decisions and discussing, and you only get in the perspective of white people, we're not necessarily going to make this legislation or this business policy or whatever with the multicultural society or whatever in mind, because like when you see terrible advertising campaigns and things, you don't have no black people in the room to tell like, yo you can't do this stuff. Like that's why these things happen. And with men is the same thing. If you only got men in the room, if we didn't have Farah here for this discussion to get validation or confirmation from a female to hear that voice and things like that, the conversation would never change. It would just be me and you saying how we see it and things like that. We don't know what female we like. That's how I'm saying is like men in power are to blame in this situation. To me, it falls on nobody else other than them.
No, I'm not saying that is not their fault, but I just thinking about it because like, okay, cool, we might start. Men in general, when I say we, I mean men in general, might have started the bad behavior, but would you say women continue, like, let it continue to a certain extent?
Why you so hard trying to blame women in this?
No, I'm not, you're legit just asking questions.
It seems like you're trying to find some way to get, okay, women are partially to blame for this. Women have some kind of, not like...
I think we would have to ask the people that are actually doing these sexual assaults, like, we would have to ask them that question.
I mean, I guess it's kind of right when all you say is a different. It's two different.
I would say there's some legitimacy to what you're saying in the sense that, like, for example,
asking a question.
Like I've had conversations with people before where I've said like there are certain types of advances and things that Simatima in particular. I've heard from girls complaining about Simatima and things saying that Simatimans do this and that. They try. You're passing or whatever, they make a comment and thing, they want to know why you react and stuff like that and whatever. And
yeah, but that's men in general. I hear that from St. Martin, I hear that from New York, I hear about up here, I hear what I more than places than St. Martin. Like, oh yeah, you holler at the girl and she diss you or something, but why fuck you too then? You was ugly anyway, you dumb scunt.
Can't even tell you how much times that shit happened to me.
Like, I forget the point I was making. What triggered me to go down that tangent? I forget the point I was making.
I can't help you without what I'm talking.
Damn it.
I can't help you without one.
Yeah, but Yeah, I guess it's like
I remember, because basically it's like there's certain type of approaches and stuff that men does make, but then it's like on a large percentage of women, it may not work, and they'll be like, okay, I don't like this, I don't find that appealing or whatever. But then again, there is still a certain percentage of women that do, and that kind of
that's sexy, okay.
Yeah, or whatever it is. I just like, maybe they are. This is gonna sound terrible. Maybe they
good. At least I ain't the only one. There you go.
Maybe they're less attractive or whatever, and they don't get as many compliments or whatever. So it's not as seen as much of an annoyance to the average pretty girl who hears from every dude down the road, like, okay, your hair looking nice, you're pretty and things like that. So I feel like the response may be a little different, and there's that's why certain guys continue to use that approach, because like, yes, it may not work on all women. Some people be like, yo, you just call a disrespectful asshole, whatever, and they just keep walking type of vibe. Whereas they got some that would actually turn around and be like, hey, and give a little smile and play into it, and then that kind of perpetuates certain men to be like, yo, it may not work on you, but that's cool. This is a numbers game. If I shoot like 50 times, I might get
at least
20. So it's like, I'll just take the L on the women that have standards and don't respond to that appeal. And these are things that I've heard from dudes. Is like, cool,
wow,
it ain't work on you, but some other chick gonna walk past and it might work on her. And that's why these things continue, I feel like.
Wow.
But you see, but okay,
or at least that's why
I feel you're right. But then again, if no women used to respond, then that would never be a tool, quote unquote, for men to use, or not.
I would think so, unless you intentionally want to get rejected all the time. I think you would switch it up.
I tried to bring back my point again. This mean that would mean,
like I said, that was the only thing where I could see some kind of a little bit of where you coming from in that type of scenario of how women somehow like in some way contribute.
Like, isn't that the same thing?
Yeah.
Kind of like I was saying.
That's why I was bringing it up.
Okay.
That's why I was bringing it up.
But yeah, see, to me, that's another example. To me, that
still doesn't excuse the behavior. Just because it works in some people doesn't make it the right way to do it.
I never said that it was the right way. I never said that it was. I was just saying that. Is it not continuing because of whatever actions that women doing as well? Because if like you say, men use power to get pussy. Women, I mean, this might be wrong to say, but women are considered the pussy. So if you using your power to get the woman, is that not kind of the same? If women in general kind of like playing into it?
Again, the argument then, what I hear is that women using their pussy for power is a response to men, because like they got the power and thing, and this is my only way to try to reclaim some kind of power in society or whatever, by using my sexuality or my pussy in, more raw terms, I guess. But
then, would it not be safe to say that women actually hold most of the power then?
I don't know.
Because if men in power using power to get pussy, does that not mean that pussy is more powerful because that's what you're trying to attain using the power? Because you cannot have it originally? No? Am I wrong with this? Anybody? No?
Listen, I'm not saying your train of thought or your logic is completely not sound, but I don't know.
I don't think there's one fit answer. Like,
it depends what you're defining as power. I think that's where the biggest thing is. Is like what type of power? Because there's multiple types of power in society.
I control what I want. Is that not power? Oh, I have control. In general, I have control.
The power to control something, but I mean, what are you controlling? That's where it like. I think that's where it comes in, because, like I say, if it's mostly men in positions of power,
but I think if the man has the power, and the man trying to get the power to please a woman, that means the woman has all the power because she's the epicenter of it, of need.
To some degree, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I agree. I see what you're getting at.
because think about it. For example,
that's basically Chirac logic. I know that you probably saw the movie, but it was a Spike Lee directed movie about the whole Chirac situation. Crap. Yes, kind of movie was told. It was interesting.
A bad representation of Chicago.
It was the wrong way to try to portray that story. It was the wrong storytelling method for that particular story. A very serious situation. by the fact that it was almost a musical, kind of like a lot of the dialogue was rhyming and like somewhat rapped and stuff like that, it made it seem more like a musical, something that like not as serious as like, okay, yo, there's hundreds of people dying at a crazy rate and stuff like that, and this is a real problem. And the solution I was using that movie was like, okay, so all the women gonna go on protest and we're gonna not let none of the guys get none until they straighten up in the streets. That was basically the whole plan. But
yo, I find that could almost work now. Really and truly, I think if executed properly, that might just work.
no,
You don't find so?
no.
Why not?
Ain't everybody trying to like that paints the picture as if men are nothing but people who just trying to get vagina. Like our main function, I will acknowledge
Guy.
it's a large part. It's a large part of what occupies males' time. The pursuit and trying to acquire and or whatever. Like,
all right, let's be real now. But then, so then, how could you say no then?
because that's not what I do with all my time. Like I ain't thinking of, okay, can I get like,
no, it can, but does that
the reverse of that is be
not
like, cool, now you got a bunch of hothead dudes that's sexually frustrated and they just piss cause they can't get no vagina and now they shooting at everybody. So what then?
But do you not think that would make man try to straighten up a little bit? Like, yo,
no.
But I don't find
that's good for a movie to do that nonsense, but real life don't work like that. I don't think real life works like that.
I don't find you could
that's not the
fit like
solution.
a logical solution to somebody that don't think logically. You know, y'all just watch Mindhunter.
Yeah,
I started to.
Like
Started to.
This guy basically
Yeah.
this guy is basically going into like jails and doing interviews with people that are like really like
Serial
crazy,
killers.
like serial killers. So and
the man who
and
keep
you know
offering the
like
man a sandwich and things like
they
that.
get so much like good information, like stuff that they wouldn't normally think about. And what he said that made a lot of sense to me. He's like, you can't. I don't even know how he said it.
Can't just kill if you don't understand how the brain works.
Yeah, exactly.
Something along those lines.
You can't put like a logical reason for somebody doing something when these people don't think normally.
Because it was talking about that was like.
So that's why I say I think we need to like do like research to see like why these people just do this, not just like the clear, like obvious reason, but like the real reason behind of it. Like, is it because they were raised in certain ways?
I believe it all comes down to something like that self, like a psychological something.
What they normally say in most rape cases, rape situations in particular, is like a power obsession with power type of thing. It's not necessarily so much, but this is like
this sex, but is the power is a
the
power
fact that you just can take away this woman's autonomy and can be like
But then that does
makes you feel powerful type of thing.
On the flip side, is the same thing is the same power dynamic where it comes to like S&M and them kind of things. Them like extreme sexual acts. That's like what a lot of women find is sexy. The whole really
consent.
That's the whole difference with it. Yeah.
If I be like, hey, my husband, tie me up or whatever. If this is the situation, if like that's a complete different thing to some dude than like
random person there following you in the park with some rope and handcuffs. Like, hey, that's sexy. You had said something there, and maybe that's what I was trying to do subconsciously. But I find there's both parties wrong in a certain aspect in almost anything. Whether it's okay, now I can't say almost anything because that would be completely fucked up statement. But I don't know, Jack. I feel that like just like I was saying before, the whole men might have started it, but I feel women kind of continuously not let it happen.
Who you find is like in the end entirely responsible?
Men.
Okay.
Because we come up with the whole construct. It's just like kind of what Gary was saying, that they're trying to find their own way. They're adapting, I guess you can say. Would that be wrong to say?
Adapting?
Yeah, because like if you can't change the situation,
system. I gotta learn to work within the system.
If you can't change what your environment is, you learn to adapt. So
like,
alright, cool,
power,
I can't do this.
I
don't have power. I don't have this and that, but I have this. I can use this to do such and such and such and such. You see what I mean?
Men are adapting.
No,
women. Because men set up the system.
Men set the rules.
I was like, what?
Yeah, like men set the rules, but women just trying to play the game.
I feel like that's accurate.
But that's tense, but that's rough, but That's really rough.
Because when people is be talking about how do you solve the rape culture and blah blah blah, and like whether you
talk about it,
teach your women and stuff, teach women, make sure that women dress appropriately and stuff like that. Women need to dress more conservatively and whatnot. And then they get a whole bunch of instances of women speaking out in situations where it's like I was in sweatpants, baggy clothes, like my hair wasn't even done, blah blah blah, and some dude still felt the need to come and assault me in a park or some shit like that. And
yeah, that's why I feel like dressing don't really have anything to do with it.
No.
Well, I mean, in some cases, yeah, but
it's fucked up that this is a fact. But even though what King was saying and what he was trying to say just now is that dressing should not be a thing, but it is.
Yeah.
It is. Like, legit, it is. If I have to see, and this is just me being normal, I ain't no rapist, I ain't no kind of assaulter and any kind of thing. It's just in general. If I have to see a girl with her tits showing and she got like a short pants or a short skirt, I will pay more attention to her than the girl in like the fucking jogging pants and sweaters. That's just normal. But then put that in the aspect of somebody who's like mentally unstable times 5. I mean, what they still, I mean, it's not right, it's nothing, but they crazy men. In other words, there's unstable men. People who want to do this with a rape thing, it's not a normal something. Like, I don't see how you can get pleasure off of causing somebody else pain. So it's obviously your head ain't good. So if you know that's the environment you're in, you don't think you're going to kind of like tread a little lightly? I mean, okay,
no. So how am I like what? I'm supposed to smell the rapist around the car as a woman?
No, I don't. Yo,
like, is what are you saying that? Knowing you in that environment, so it's supposed to assume all men is just rabid rapists, like just waiting on a moment to rape me type of thing. Like,
no.
And I gotta be on guard at like what?
No.
What are you proposing, Sean?
But if you let's do a specific example. If you know you go into a club, if you know the club is going to play a certain amount of a certain type of music, and you know that certain type of music attracts a certain type of assholes, you really going to go all slutty to that club?
I dress how I want to dress.
So you don't. So
are you worrying about women assaulting you when you put on your clothes to go to the club? No. Why? Because you're a man and women don't pose no physical threat to you like that. So it's not a concern that has to go through your mind. But you thinking about this situation from a woman's perspective, saying that I gotta think about, okay, is a man going to assault me because I feel like wearing a short pants tonight?
I'm not saying is not fucked up to think about, but this is the climate that we in. Man, no, like you was like, the point you was bringing up earlier. Right now we in the climate that man to rape woman. Woman is not normal, quote unquote, if you're talking about the whole rape and the sexual assault thing, for women to do it to men. So if that's the environment, and you as a woman, if you know this, won't you try something to at least prevent it a little bit more? Cool, dress how you want, but don't mean you got to have your ass and your tits out, all that kind of thing like that. Man, you don't find that's kind of not asking for it, but provoking is a wrong word too. Cause that just saying asking for it, but I don't know, like enticing to a certain extent.
To me, the only thing you're asking for by dressing a certain way is attention.
Yeah,
that might be the most that you're asking for.
But that's where the line is drawn. You have no control over how other people are going to react to your attention seeking. You're seeking attention, but you're going to get all types of attention. You can't filter out what kind of attention you want. Of need, right or wrong. So if you know you're going to get attention, you don't know how people are going to give that attention to you. So if you don't think that if you know this is the situation, not saying that is right, but if you know this is the climate and you can't do anything about it, why put yourself in that situation more?
By doing what?
By dressing a certain way? By dressing
a certain way?
Not a certain way, but let's let real legit slutty. Why would you do that? I guess that's my question. I guess I'm more posing that to you than anything, Farah, because you say like you dress how you want. Do you not see how that correlates a bit?
Yeah, but I mean, in a sense, like I don't feel like.
Where's the line? When do you finally get to dress the way you feel like? Then
what happens to the people that just get raped in hijabs and all that?
Yeah,
like I said, the sweatpants and shit. There's many stories of those type of things happening.
But I mean at the same.
When is the line drawn? When is the line drawn? Reasoning for somebody that ain't got no logic. We don't know what the reason is behind them wanting to rape some girl. Like, I mean, okay, we understand the ones that, you know, she really fine and I want to get her and she don't want nothing to, and she don't want it, so I gonna force it on her. But then in other situations, like when people are like doing their own thing, dressing because, like you say, they being conservative about their body and they dressing in a situation where they don't want that to happen to them, and it's still happening to them. There's no one answer.
Okay. Let me bring this example.
To me, the only logical answer starts with people committing the crimes. That
exactly.
But this is the same.
I think to me, I think personal accountability is important and stuff like that. But a woman's personal accountability or responsibility in a rape or sexual assault situations ends like there's very little that she can do. She just gotta be her. But I mean, if some dude decide to rape or sexually assault her, it's not in like.
Okay.
He made that decision.
Okay,
he ain't much that.
Let me ask you this then, cause I find this is legit almost the same scenario. Black man, how black man address? You don't think that's somewhat asking?
They hang Martin Luther in a suit. Them dudes who got a pants hanging, they treated the same way.
How you mean?
Martin Luther King, like. How, like, what are you trying to say? You should be respected a certain way more if you carry yourself a certain way more. If you should be perceived. You wouldn't be treated like a thug if you dress in a suit. Not the type of shit police been saying about black people. Like, if you carry yourself that way, you look like a criminal.
But it's fucking
talking nonsense. It's an easily refutable statement.
Bullshit. So you mean to tell me there's no way for you to minimize that? Fuck that. No, Jack. You mean to tell me, okay, cool. You walking out.
Every example you're going to mention, there's a black activist that can give you an example of somebody that died following exactly every situation.
But that's almost that's almost every situation. That's almost every bad situation you could be in. There's always something more that either not in your control or some fuck like that. But there's ways that you could minimize the fact of it happening. That's not refutable, dog. You could not tell me there's no way for you to at least minimize something that's in your control. If it's going to happen now, it's going to happen regardless. But you cannot sit here and tell me that there's no way for you to at least minimize that fuck, dog. So you mean to tell me, if me personally, I'm gonna choose myself as an example. I just dress baggy. To me that's just comfortable. But I know that culturally and society that image is perceived as in a certain way. So I cannot necessarily be upset if somebody cross the road at night if they seeing me how I dress, because they probably have been attacked or seen something on TV or some stereotype or some shit. I cannot blame them for thinking that. So, and this is the same shit with the whole police and the clothes there. You mean to tell me that if you're going for a job interview or something like that, you gonna go all baggy and stuff, and you gonna dress the part, right? Because you have a better chance of getting the job, dog. It is still up to the people whether they're going to hire you or not. But you can do something to at least either minimize or maximize your whatever the things you have done.
I understand what you're saying.
That's my only shit.
To how much degree is it even a logical thing to worry about? Because like you said, I could only control my actions. I can't control how other people perceive me. Mm-hmm. But I can try my best to, I guess, minimize a risk or whatever of me being assaulted. So let me not talk back to the police or whatever and stuff. Let me stay calm and whatever, see how things go. Tell the police that I have a firearm on me. They end up like Fernando Castillo. And then, or... But again, what about in that particular situation? To me, I find it's a ridiculous argument. I understand it, that yes, your appearance says something about you, or people do get an idea. Like, we would all like to say judge people by the content of their character and their personalities and all of that. We all know appearance matters. It plays a role, yes. But
so then, how you can tell me my thing is ridiculous, dog? Because it's you just thinking it. There's no way me trying to present myself in a better aspect going to bring myself down or going to...
Who makes the rules on what's better? That's where it becomes tricky. Because if a woman just wants to dress this way, I don't think I'm dressing slutty or whatever, but because there's people who deem that this is too provocative or too thing for them based on their standards, that's where it becomes a tricky thing. When you have only like you just said, you dress this way or whatever, but in certain people's eyes, that might be perceived as a gangster or thug because they're not part of the culture or whatever. To them, that's strange and thing, and that's what ends up getting you killed, not them. That's where it's a problem, dog. Because we didn't make these rules of what this attire means. They created the stereotype, the image of like, okay, you look like a criminal. But is it
you
not
is
who
the
are
same
going to
thing, like
stop
what we
passing
say-
through the things
is
when
it
I
not-
just see 2 other people passing, but you, like, we doing random checks, but you is who gonna get stopped. So that never people for fucking Central.
No,
Passing through the porches and they're doing checks and thing there. 3 white people pass, couples and thing. We doing random checks, they say, and I the only person they stop. Really? The same thing. 2 like white people passing fine right after me. The 1 black person that come, that's who they stop, and they tell me they're doing random checks.
Yeah, no, I mean it's
Based
shit.
on what? Likelihood of who committing crimes.
that-
And then white
But then, okay, so you mean to tell me if somebody is a black man in a suit would you telling me that the black man in the suit would have the same chance to get stuck as a black man
they
just
assassinated
baggy?
Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. He was
Yeah,
wearing suits all
I
the time
understand.
too.
I understand those things, but you bring in one specific. you telling me the same thing, like what?
During a different era, that was the common way of dressing, and you were still
how you mean that's
disrespected by the same. So you tell me going back in the 80s and 90s when the influence of church was a lot more before the uprising of hip hop music and all thing that changed the culture in black societies and brought in this image of the gangster, that kind of image. You telling me it wasn't a lot more common to see people dressing the further back? Look at the way style and everything have changed, dog.
Yeah,
you
but-
never see it was a much more common for people to wear suits and dress appropriate.
But don't you think that's two different? Don't you think you comparing 2 different eras there? Because not only was the dress is something. Not only was dressing.
But what I'm telling you
influencing-
is, regardless of the era, didn't matter how the dress was. It didn't matter if it was respectable or not. You got saw the same way.
Yes,
Jay-Z
but
just
that's-
made the song.
But that's because of the climate. That's because of the era, dog. Not necessarily just because of the dressing,
But what
dog.
happened today?
No,
So it's okay. In your opinion, you feel people in suits like you automatically granted respect today? You're not.
more, yeah. So you cannot refute that to me. You cannot tell me otherwise, dog. You cannot tell me without judgment of character.
So wait, you trying to say that Martin Luther King got killed because of how he was dressing?
No,
I'm
he
saying
said that.
because
No,
of
he
how
said that he
dressing.
got
I'm
killed
saying
regardless
that,
of how he was dressed.
it
Yeah,
didn't-
because of what he was trying to do, like of what he was trying to accomplish. That's why he got killed. But these people getting killed because of the stereotypes. I feel like that's two different things.
But that's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to tell him. It's a completely different era you're talking about. No, dog. We're not taking. Okay, cool. Racism is part of it, and that's where we kind of.
Yo, we had a whole podcast on one topic here. This topic went on for an hour and change.
Yeah.
I don't know. We kind of drift off into a slightly different topic, but
You fucked me up there, man. I can't remember my point myself.
it was different things with the dressing and stuff.
I don't know.
If you want to finish your point before you wrap up.
I just find in general that is again, like I was saying before, when it comes, this whole thing start from the whole women thing. It's wrong that the society does think that way in general, and that women should be able to wear what the fuck they want. Yes, but obviously that is not the case in society. So I just find there's ways that you could minimize the likelihood of it happening.
Like
That's all I
we
tried to
was
say.
saying before we started recording, the blackout drunk situation, I feel like things like that, though, in those type of situations, I agree. It's on men to not rape or not sexually assault.
We didn't even get to bring that up, man.
I feel like that's my general standpoint. It's on men to not rape or not sexually assault. I know it could happen. Women might do it as well, but generally talking about it's on men to not do that.
Mm-hmm.
And but there is still some personal accountability in a sense. I feel like you shouldn't put yourself in no stupid situation, extra vulnerable situation. There are certain things that would be like a warning sign, like, okay, I don't feel comfortable here. Let me try to remove myself from the situation if it's possible. I know it may not be as possible or possible at all in certain situations, but to me, it's like, I know there was on the Brilliant Idiots thing, there was the chick who was talking about the situation where she got blackout drunk and she woke up and somebody was on top of her. And like she understood, she felt kind of responsible because she was like, yeah, I got blackout drunk. And I was in this place with, I don't necessarily know everybody all that well and that kind of thing. So that was not maybe the smartest move. And I could agree with her on that. but that doesn't
Doesn't give the
absolve
right- yeah,
that
the
doesn't
people-
absolve
yeah,
the
yeah,
person
yeah.
who decided to
But you
go
see-
through without her consent.
That's the kind of point I was kind of making before. Like, who tell you to fuck? Okay, no.
I just
okay,
feel like
no,
I
dressing
just
is a
feel
little
like the
different.
clothing
That's a
thing.
yeah, it's a different something. Yeah. I was just gonna say who tell you, but no, that's a complete.
It's not up
different
to me
something.
to tell nobody how to dress
completely
to be like,
different. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
this is anti-rape
But getting blackout,
attire or like something.
getting blackout drunk, that should be like
I
avoidable
feel
for
like
everybody.
for men, women, regardless, you should not be
Regardless of
drinking
sex,
to the point that you can't recall, that you don't know what's going on, you ain't in control of yourself. Like
But I want-
nobody should be in that
I
situation.
want to ask this. I want kind of talk about this because this is actually something interesting before we wrap up. Farah,
Oh God.
what sign you sending a fella if you gonna show up at his house like 12 o'clock in the night?
What? How do I know this guy? Like,
What's the situation? It depends.
Yeah, that's
Paint the
if
scenario.
it's like
paint the
you,
scenario.
if I pull up at you 12 o'clock in the night, you gonna be like, "What good, Farrell?
yeah,
You
that's,
eat? Okay."
Yeah, hit the flips or whatever.
That's true, yeah. But okay, let's say you was like there was a little bit of flirting here and there. Like you was talking through text and whatnot, and there was a little bit of flirting here and there, and then all of a sudden you just put like this man tell you come through, like we smoke a joint, chilling and shit like that, and you end up at this man like
And the
2,
message
3
was
o'clock.
sent at 11:30.
Yeah, 11:30. You show up at this man like 1 o'clock, 1:30.
What do I expect?
Yeah, like you don't have something going. You have something in your head going to that situation.
If he say we coming through to smoke a joint, watch a movie,
Mm-hmm.
we smoking and watching a movie. Like,
But do you not? You see, this is gonna make me sound like a fucking rape apologist. Though. This whole
Why?
podcast just made me sound bad. No, because
Somebody got to play devil's advocate. Man.
That's
It's for the
all
purpose of discussion.
that's all I try
There
to
are
do.
some people that do hold your views and stuff and think
Yeah.
that way, so somebody needs to present that side of the argument. I understand.
yeah, but I mean, I'm
This
not
is the
saying
point.
that.
No,
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 like
no,
you
I-
could be thinking
no, I
like,
think- no, I
we're
think
gonna
it-
do something
No,
else, but
why I say that is because me as a potentially I have a strong feeling I'm going to be a father of a daughter one day. There's no fucking reason I see for you and a partner that was you partner who be flirting with each other, for you to be going by this man's house 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, other than you gonna fuck. Like there's no reason. I don't see no fucking because
I remember-
even if it was a platonic relationship, you'd be in my house
but
earlier.
I think so too. Like, I agree that if you do pull up, you have the idea that it possibly would happen.
Exactly,
So you
so then-
okay with the idea of it happening?
So then, okay, so that
It
means
ain't necessarily that you're going there to
But
fuck,
me
like-
for a girl from a girl's perspective, because we can only talk about from a guy's perspective. From a girl's perspective, what you thinking? Like, if you do pull up there, like you expecting to fuck?
But that's why I say personally, because I'm not
Yeah.
going to speak on behalf of everybody.
Yeah.
But personally, if I flirting with a guy and we say we're going to do this and we're going to watch a movie or whatever, and I end up coming to his house, I know it could possibly end up in that.
Okay, so that means if you wasn't cool with that potentially happening, you would have never gone to the house in the first place. Of me.
Exactly, yeah. I probably wouldn't do that. But why am I flirting with him if I ain't like...
No, because some girls just like that, just to flirt, whether it's to pass time or because they bored or they're trying to get emotions.
Yeah,
over
well,
some other
that's the
fella.
difference, because I not really like that. So, like...
Why this come up is because again we was referencing the Brilliant Idiots, and like Wax was saying, he was like, yo, don't be by this fucking man house 2-3 o'clock in the morning if you ain't trying to fuck. And I find he's he's not completely right, but I think there's some logic to that. Because
Yeah.
what you doing by it, especially if you don't have a platonic relationship. If you, first of all, you're not putting up at my house 1 o'clock in the morning unless it's some kind of issue.
Who, me?
Yeah, like what the fuck you doing coming with me 1 o'clock in the morning unless you either stranded.
I don't know. Maybe I just in the bird. Like, I don't know.
No.
This,
This is fucking Holland. There's no in the bird, okay? This fuck that has planned.
Let me know. Text me.
Exactly. Especially
Tell
if
me
you
you're
live in a
coming through.
different city. No. This shit has to be planned. So to me, I don't. Maybe I asking you this. Maybe I was hoping you could tell me something else. But to me, there's no fucking logical reason for a girl to be by a man house that late. And
But where are you going with this though? Because to me it sounds as though
yeah.
it sounds
I didn't get to
almost as
finish
if
it.
you're trying to be like, okay, so now
It's
that
okay-
you know
it's
that,
okay
so
for the
that
man.
means
No,
it's
no,
okay
no,
for
no.
him to.
No.
Yeah, force it on you.
Let me
Like,
find a line.
It
Let me
sounds
draw
like
a
now
line.
where you going with this?
Let me draw a line.
Yes, don't dig your grave too deep.
Yeah.
You can still get out. You can still get out.
Let me draw a line. Go and a girl end up by the partner house 2-3 o'clock in the morning and be upset if the partner try to fuck.
But that's why I say I know that it possibly could happen.
When I mean try, I don't mean like force himself on the girl. I mean like maybe he like, I don't know, try kiss her and then she pull away and then that will be becoming a whole awkward something and then that's something. Or like he try hold her hand or he try to do some kind of slick move or some shit. Not to say actually force himself on her. But if that's the case, you can't be upset with the fella.
Try the old school arm around,
people is actually get upset for that?
Yeah. Be like, yo, I thought you just say we just come to smoke, we just come to chill. What the fuck you doing come to chill with me and smoking 2 o'clock in the morning?
But like you leading him on. Because if you're going to be flirting with him and all of that stuff before, you would expect something like that to go down.
Exactly, but then women will come and be like, oh yeah, but this is not the case, and I thought we just come here to think. What the fuck you didn't come at me 2 o'clock in the morning then?
Why are you so aggressive, dad?
I don't know, because it has pissed me off.
Are you going through stuff?
No, Jack, it'll get me upset.
Man, like he extra passionate like that what happened last night.
We was talking, or some friends of mine was talking about it. And the partner tell me that the girl get all upset and offended at how he could possibly think of her like that and this and this and that. I don't like stupid shit. To me, that's stupid shit. Like
no, but like how like he was like cool. What was the relationship before?
It was a flirt. It was a flirtatious like something. There wasn't it wasn't a friendship. Then go into a relationship type something. No, that they was like legit. About yo, I find you sexy, cool, yeah. And then they was flirting, and all of a sudden this chick show up by home by house, and she got upset when man tried to make a move. What you thinking? Like
yeah,
come at me 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Don't come at me 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Or maybe I wrong for agreeing with that chain of thought.
Listen, I agree with what you're saying. I'm not saying you're wrong. Like, I feel like if it's past 11, like, I mean, the old people, they say, well, if it's done past 2, don't leave your house again for the day or something like that. Done past 12, don't leave your house again. And I feel like it can't ain't nothing good happening past that time.
Yeah.
You're getting in problems, like, I mean.
But you see, again,
to me, I find the same logic. If I messaging a girl at 11 p.m. or something like that, there's not that much else on my mind. Like, what is there to do at these times? Okay, no, like, see, let's be real.
It could be an extreme.
We going out? Like, if it's not a club?
We could either legit be talking about life and aliens and fuck it up because I've had those conversations at 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
Yeah, but you gotta be a special person that kind of bond is already established with. Like,
always like extremely nasty something. So to me, there's either or. There's no in between. Like, hey, how you doing? You eat? You good? How your family? 2 o'clock in the morning? Nada. no.
But that's what I mean. Like, if you make it clear that you like this girl, if you make it clear like you like her, and she know that you like her. Why is she rolling up and expecting anything else?
Exactly. I don't know. That's why I'm trying to figure out. That's why I was trying. I was kind of hoping you come true, but you're kind of agreeing with us at this point. So we'll have to try it again until next time.
Well, yeah, different answer.
I don't know. To me, is like if again saying I keep saying I'm pretty sure you're gonna have a daughter. What the hell my daughter doing by the next morning at 2-3 o'clock in the morning unless she's trying to fuck? Like I don't.
Nah, but like.
I don't.
That's why I say like it really depends on the relationship that they had before. Because I feel like me and you, like I could chill with you. We've been up at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning just chilling.
But that's chilling from the afternoon. Not to say you just pull up by me 1 o'clock and be like, yeah, so what good? What good? No, that's never.
So you telling me I can't come to your house at 2 o'clock in the morning? You can expect to fuck?
What the fuck? No, first of all, I don't pay the fucking period. That was never.
Exactly, but that's what I mean. It's on a relationship,
but no, because like, why? Maybe.
Are people going off into another conversation that I feel like it would be
At least we're not talking about Donald Trump though.
Yeah. But I mean another conversation I would like to have, but I feel like we gotta wrap it up because we're going into an hour and a half almost. So I think we've been trying to keep it to an hour, but I mean
I find the conversation was interesting this time, and that's why I went in with the last little topic there. But like Mr. King has been,
we had in mind to talk about like 3 topics today. We had like 3 topics planned. We only tackled one.
Sean was looking at a time. Kana was looking at a time. Since like 50 minutes. It's like 1:23.
Yeah, we've been doing this a while.
With that being said, everybody, again, thank you for all those who made it through this episode. Thank you for sticking with us. Again. If you like it, if you like the episode, leave us know what you think. If you have specific comments or topics you'd like us to talk about, leave us know in the comments or hit us up directly. If you have anybody specifically you want us to talk to or interview or have a conversation about in general, just leave us know as well or hit us up personally.
We'd also like to thank our guests for coming through, you know.
Big up the alcoholic, homie.
How do you feel about this man branding you and labeling you to the public?
She can't fucking say nothing about it because anybody that has tried to get man to fucking drink is this homie, okay? So she can't say shit.
That's why he just always call me when he want to drink though.
Okay. True.
It's true. But yeah, again, Farah,
we appreciate coming through.
No
for sure.
I find it was an interesting conversation, so we can probably invite you to come on again.
Yeah, cool.
And yeah, King.
Sure thing.
With that, we'll see you the next time we link up.
Hit the subscribe button though.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Farah. Subscribe, link, all that.
Done.
You can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. For now, that's it.
Yeah, mainly there. They know what to find us.
Yeah. Check out next week when we link up.
Done. No. Yes.
Wake up, it's time to shape up. We're all in this together. Wake up, yeah. We won't quit. Yeah, we fell down, but we'll get back up again. No way, I'm sitting down. Keep the faith, 'cause God works in mysterious ways. He keeps me pushing on every day. Keep pushing. Let's unify and build back in my day. Keep pushing. Together we won't do this alone. Keep pushing. This is how we build back our country. Keep pushing. This is how we'll build back our home. We will rise again. We will rise again. Let me show them. We will rise again. We will rise again. Don't tell them. We will rise again. We will rise again. Show them. We will rise again. We will rise again. At 2 a.m. in the morning time it happened. I lost my roof and started feeling pain. And me homeless out in the rain, like I'm starting life back over again. Just keep the faith, 'cause only God knows why I'm here today. Keep pushing. Let's unify and build back, saying my day. Keep pushing. Together we won't do this alone. Keep pushing. This is how we build back our country. Keep pushing. This is how we build back our home. We will rise again. We will rise again. We gon' tell them. We will rise again. We will rise again. I'll show them. We will rise again. We will rise again. Just tell them. We will rise again. We will rise again. I remember like it was yesterday when the storm come in my shop place. Took my karma home but not my faith. All I know we rise back up again. Things were one island, one people. The storm made us equals. Wally guy. Let's unify and build back in my head. Together we won't do this alone. This is how we build back our country. This is how we build back our home. We will rise again. We will rise again. Yeah. We will rise again. We will rise again. We will show them. We will rise again. We will rise again. We gon' tell them. We will rise again. We will rise again. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, 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 wake up.